Hello and welcome. So I'm going to try and keep this brief. I'm trying really hard not to laugh at myself when recording this little tutorial for you because I did a little ADHD and I was just looking through my file and I was click the little dots to download it, and instead I hit delete and I was just like, awesome, why did I do that? So that's the universe's way of telling me to be more to the point and shorten the video, I think, because it was longer than I hoped. So, hello and welcome to the Neuro-Friendly Content Kit. So I'm going to try and keep this nice and brief. So, before you start, I would recommend watching the tutorial, which you're already on, so that's fine, and also the Copywriting 101 module, which is about an hour long, but it does cover everything that you need to know pretty much about the basics of content. You can probably watch it on 2x speed as well, just a little hack. I know we got a lot of ADHD in here. So everything that I go over will pretty much guide you to what you need to know on a basic level that will have you getting in the swing of creating really, really good quality content and copy. So you can also see the reference sheet here, which is, so you'll hear me go over like hooks, CTAs, and copywriting formulas. This is just your bank so that you can refer back to it if anything feels a little bit overcomplicated, or maybe you're like, oh, I forgot that, then this is just a quick reference sheet for you as well. And then I will add a little bit there. Actually, there's an extra page just on my top tips for every piece of content or copy that is just more like the vibes of the content rather than or the aim of the content rather than anything super specific. So before you start creating the content itself, and before you actually access the content kit, you'll need to look at the messaging generator. I mean, if you're already really clear on the problems and the needs and the desires, and getting inside the mind of your ideal client, then that's great. You might not need this, but honestly, even if you don't, I would recommend just giving it a try, because it really, really does help, especially when you're having one of those days where it's almost like you draw a blank and you forget, like, I don't even know what I do for work. Like, it gets like that sometimes. So I would recommend just having this as a tool that you can come back to when you're having like a brain fart day, and you can just come and use this as a little bit of a breakdown. Not to have a breakdown, hopefully. So if you want to edit this as well, you can just click the three dots there. There's just a little call out there saying how to do it, but you just click the three dots that I can't click right now because my recording tool is in the way, so that's fabulous. And then you just hit duplicate and it will duplicate into your Notion. If you're new to Notion as well, Notion is free. It's completely free. You don't have to pay for anything. I pay for this so that I can share it with you guys. So, it's completely free, and you just set up an account, and it will just be like a little private dash of your own. So the messaging generator essentially breaks down the problems and desires of your ideal client so that you have a basis to work from your content. So your ideal client's core problem. So this is going to be one of many. You could probably have like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 even main problems that your ideal client will struggle with. So you can kind of rotate through them and create new pieces of content from that, if that makes sense. So you can just have like a main bank here, and then your content can kind of be based off of those things, if that makes sense. So I would recommend kind of filling that out, and then that's something that you can come back to. So your ideal client's core problem, their symptoms. So this is a really, really important part. This is where you can paint the picture essentially of what they go through on a day-to-day basis, how that problem shows up for them in language that they are going to understand, with real-time things that they understand. So for example, if you're a burnout coach, one of your ideal client's main problems might be something along the lines of keeping themselves busy at all times. So that would be a main problem. So their symptoms could be something along, and this is literally so off my head, so just excuse off the top of my head. I didn't even say this in the first video, so just bear with me. So, their symptoms of that might be so something that they could really understand and identify with. Even when you're meant to be resting, you find yourself scrolling through your phone at 3 a.m. in the morning. Super specific. You see what I mean? So you're really painting the picture of, oh fuck, I did that last night. How do they know? Like, they understand me so well. It's almost like you want to create such a deep resonance through your content and through that understanding of your... Sorry about that background noise if you can hear. We've got works going on outside. That was very rude. So showing up, how it shows up for them on a day-to-day basis and painting that picture. And then their main desire, so what they want on the surface. Maybe their main desire is they want a slower life. They're sick and tired of the hustle and bustle. They're sick and tired of their asshole boss, like all of that kind of stuff. Maybe they just want a slower life. Deeper problem. So what's really going on beneath the surface is they might have boundary issues. So, yes, they're burnt out. Yes, they are massively tired and overworked, but what's the deeper problem? Do they have boundary issues? Do they have unresolved trauma that's actually causing them to be a people pleaser? Like, again, I'm not a burnout coach, so I'm just using things that I already know about that kind of space, but use this in your own niche. So deeper problem, which is connected to the core problem. So what they've already tried that hasn't worked before. Maybe they've tried self-care. Maybe they've tried productivity hacks, which probably makes the problem worse. Maybe they've tried meditating and they find themselves overthinking, and they can't shut off their thoughts. I definitely relate, but it's ADHD, not burnout. So what have they tried that has maybe been a quick fix that hasn't worked before? Deeper desire, so intangible things that they want. So how do they want to feel? How do they want to live? So yes, maybe she wants a slower life, maybe she wants to work less, but how she wants to feel is more in control. She wants to feel like she is giving herself enough time. She wants to feel freedom. That's a whole deeper desire for most people, honestly. Every kind of human desire comes down to freedom usually, but so where can you kind of expand on that? And then what they need to get there. So this is where your methodology comes in. What do they need in order to get there? And why is it different to what they have already tried? And this normally relates to your solution here, which you can then mention you'll learn how to do that in the post that you'll see in the next trainings. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And you can repeat that row by row to break down different types of problems. And then you can just literally come back to that, and that will be the basis of your content. And then you can just format it in different pieces of content, which I'm going to show you right now. So back to this page, I literally just click the back button, it will take you back. So once you start using the content kit, you'll then be able to pretty much take all of that, and you can alternate between pillars, themes, CTAs, different content types to then make that message land for your ideal client. You'll notice how none of this, I just want to drop this in. You'll notice how none of this stuff is focused on how to create viral posts, how to get loads of views, how to get loads of likes, how to get engagement bait going, because none of it matters. The reason I'm teaching you this is because it is the thing that works time and time again without having to break your back trying to go viral. Believe me, I've gone viral, I've done it, and I've taught the opposite of it for a long time now and seen the results. So I just want to drop that in there. This is the stuff that might take a little while to learn the skills, but I promise you it will save you that headache of, oh God, my post hasn't got any views, I'm doing something wrong. You're not, it's just you're focusing on the wrong thing. So anyway, I just wanted to drop that in because it's the thing I hear time and time again. So yeah, your goal is to connect with your ideal client and move them ultimately from a viewer into a buyer through genuine relationship building. That's my little spiel. So I would recommend when you click onto the calendar, using it, and honestly using all of this on desktop or tablet if you can, just because the view is a little bit, it just doesn't work well with the brain on the phone. It's a little bit crammed. So always have it just in front of you if you can. So let's go on to the calendar. All right, so when you look at the calendar view, it will look a little something like this. We're going to delete that just there. And we're going to delete that. Right, so it'll look a little something like this. So you want to just hover over here where you see the plus icon, and then just click where it says add an item. That will add your post for the day. So you can name it whatever you want, reel about XYZ, we'll call it. Or you can just leave it blank. Doesn't matter. Just depends on what your brain needs to see for it to sink in. And then just whatever There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, yeah, something like that. Just for example, you can type in there basically is what I'm trying to show you. So if you have like notes or anything that you want to brain dump about your content for the day, because you already have posts kind of jumbled about in your head that you need to get structure on, that's great. Brain dump it there. If you don't, that's fine, because that's what this kit is here for. And that's what these little drop downs and everything are there for as well. So you can, honestly, I don't really use the status thing that much. You can just use to do or done. I just leave it because it's the least thing that I'm worrying about. But if you find that helpful, then that's great. So you can toggle those. So content type as well. I haven't put all these here because you need to do all of those content types or anything. It's just that this kit can be used for any type of content. So you can just click into which one is the one you're using. Normally it'll be like a video on TikTok or Instagram or an email or something like that. And then the publish date is already filled out automatically based on the day that you've chosen. So that's all good. So category. So this is where it gets interesting, or should I say spicy. So this is the spice formula, and it's a relatively new formula that I have created and trademarked. Neuro-Spicy, get it? Spice? No. So it essentially combines everything that you have probably ever been told that your content needs to do or include, and I have put it in a simple Monday to Friday formula. That's it. It's just what you have to follow Monday to Friday, and then you can be as creative as you like within that. But this makes sure that it hits all of the kind of touch points that your ideal client needs to see from you and your business and your brand in order to build trust and build relationships and build resonance. So that's it. Monday to Friday, post once a day if you can. If you miss one day, the world's not going to fucking implode. Chill. It's all good. You do not need to post 3 times a day. One thing I also want to say on top of the whole go viral kind of fiasco, you don't need to post 3 times a day. Actually works. If we're talking about the algorithm, it actually doesn't work in your favor, but we're not going to get into that because we're not going to focus on the algorithm. But you don't need to be killing yourself and breaking your back trying to post however many times a day. A simple Monday to Friday routine will be great. And if you miss an I on a Wednesday or a C on a Thursday, it's not going to be the end of the world. You're fine. So this is just a real good structure for you to kind of follow. So we'll start from S. So story. This is where you can share a story. Like, for example, you can share your brand story. You can share your client story. You can share the story of how you got to where you are today. You can share the story of how your methodology actually helped you at one point, or a piece of methodology that helped you at one point. A personal story of this happened to me last week and it reminded me of blah, blah, blah. So storytelling in multiple different formats. So it kind of hits multiple birds with one stone. You know, you can use it for social proof, a client story. You can use it for your brand awareness, which is, you know, your brand story or how you got here. You can use it to promote your methodology, you know, how my methodology or a piece of it helped me get to where I am today with the specifics. You can just use it as storytelling, which is just a great piece to have in your marketing anyway, of this happened to me last week and it reminded me of something that I need to tell you about X, Y, and Z. So it really is fantastic. So moving on to P, perspective. So this is where you get to show who you are as a business, but also it's being brave as well, because that can often be a difficult part, is sharing your unique perspective, sharing maybe a few spicy hot takes of the industry that you're in, or your niche, or things that maybe people are a little bit scared to say, but also shifting the perspective of your ideal client with this as well. So sharing something of value that will make them actually think, shit, I didn't think like that before, or, oh, I'm aware of how maybe I need to do things differently. You see what I mean? So for example, you know, what we were saying on the messaging generator, this could be, you know, talking about something that they've tried before that hasn't worked and maybe a new way of seeing things or doing things, or sharing your perspective of this is why I don't teach X, Y, and Z. So it really allows you to bring out your uniqueness of what you do and what you provide. Insight. So this is my favorite one, because this is really, when I say bring value to the table, I don't always mean you need to do it through education or a training or something so like intense. You know, value is all of these letters. You know, it's storytelling, it's shifting the perspective, it's inspiring, it's all of it, it's understanding. But here is where you can go ham on showing like that you are like not basically all bark and no bite. So you're showing like, I can teach you, I can educate you, I know my shit, like here is something that I'm going to share with you that you can implement now, or go away and do, or something that's going to be really useful for you. There's no such thing as too much value. Like there is, but there's not. And if you want to do an in-depth training once a week, go for it. But, you know, don't make it super boring because that will lose people as well. So educate your audience, share a mini training, share a quick hack. It doesn't always have to be super in depth. You know, share a quick hack or tip or exercise. So that is insight. And then C is call out. So making your audience feel seen by lovingly calling them out and directly speaking to their struggles, desires, or something that they're going through. So maybe a symptom of the problems. It's really putting yourself in that kind of lens of your ideal client and really allowing them to see that, oh my God, she's directly calling me out in a like, not in like a you're a dick way, but like I feel seen. So not so much like I'm being called out or I'm being seen. So, you know, they feel really, really seen by you. So that is call out. And then E, engage. So essentially what you want to be doing with all of these posts is always leading into something that will take them deeper. That doesn't always have to be leading into a paid product or service or program. Okay. So on every like SPIC and E, you can share something that might be like a freebie, or if you want a deeper insight into this, DM me X, Y, and Z, and I'll send you the podcast episode on it, or I'll share you a free mini training that I created for you on it. Or you know, even just jump on my email list where you can see me go deeper into this on a weekly basis. So always want to be soft selling something, or maybe it is like a low ticket offer or something. What you want to avoid is every single day shoving a paid offer down someone's throat. People don't vibe with it. It's called essentially the jab, right hook method. It's Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, the wine guy, you might know him as. Really, like, he thought of that. I think he coined that term a while ago, a very long time ago. Yeah, because the book came anyway, a long time ago, years and years ago. Essentially, the jabs are the values. So you're giving value, lovingly, you know, inviting them to go a little bit deeper and gently, kind of like, if you want to explore more, here's how you can do it. Here's how I have a low paid offer or a freebie, or here's a free resource, here's a free training for you. In those, and then the right hook is like, for example, on a Friday maybe. Engage. So here's where you can ask for something back, even if it's a post where you start off talking about something and framing it in a way of a normal kind of value post, and then the majority of it is, here's my paid offer, come and join me if you want the full transformation. And this is also why I recommend having one or maybe two at most main offers that you can kind of talk about. Again, this will look different when you're in a launch or promotion period. That's a little bit too much for me to go into on a starter kit. I do go into that massively in my own signature offer, the Sales Accelerator. But for now, I just want you to focus on this. So engaging is where you can basically ask for something back and promote your paid offer. So that's pretty much SPICE. So that covers it. And then the formulas, so you'll be able to find that in the Copywriting 101 training, and then you can alternate between those. They're not like mandatory, but if you struggle with keeping flow in your content or knowing kind of how to structure things in a way that's going to be really good and readable, or you feel like sometimes, and this is honestly, even I have days like this sometimes, where you get halfway through a post and you're like, what am I even talking about anymore? Like, I don't know shit about fuck. Like, it's like I've lost my flow. I've lost my kind of direction. So these just keep you really on track when you're having like a brain fart day, as I call it. And then your pillars. So essentially your pillars, so you can just click the three dots here. Of course, as I said, after you click those three dots on the side, when you, not on this one, on the main calendar view page, when you duplicate it, you'll be able to edit. So you edit these pillars here, so you can change it, and like that, you can just change it to your pillar. Pollard, nope, pillar. So, and then you click enter and it saves. So, there we go. So your content pillars essentially are just things that you can, again, like with the messaging generator, repeatable. You can just go round and round and use those same ideas and put them in different ways. Your marketing, you do not always need to be reinventing the wheel. You do not always need to be thinking of a new idea. You do not always need to be, being the new content Einstein and being a fucking inventor of some new exciting thing every single day that you post. Marketing actually should be repeatable. It means that you are clear and it means that you're getting your message across really, really solidly. If you look at the statistics, I'm going to nerd out. If you look at the statistics on how many touch points it takes for someone to see one piece of information from you and for it to sink in, it's like 8 to 10 times. Just for some perspective. So this is also why people, go into a launch and they're like, I've posted 3 times and no one has signed up. Everyone hates me. It's like, that your offer hasn't even registered in someone's head. Like, yeah, so chill, you got to be consistent. So anyway, so your pillars, essentially, they are the main blocks of the what you cover in terms of the service or transformation you provide. So a good way of looking at this also is if you have an offer built out, a signature offer, look at the main 3 or 4 phases that you kind of go through with people, or the main problems that you solve in that offer. And then you've got your content pillars, all the while making it relevant to what that ideal client needs to see from you in order to move on to become a client. And again, just a little side training here, actually. If you're thinking, fucking hell, Polly, I have no idea. Like, I have like 5 or 6 offers and they all do different things and I'm not very clear on them. I'm going to give you the best piece of advice. Shave off the excess fat and just have 1, maybe 2 at most signature offers that guide people through a clear transformation, and watch your content pillars magically appear. And watch more clients magically appear as well, because believe me, a confused buyer says no. But again, not going to go into that right now. So your pillars really kind of reflect that. So I'll give you some examples of my own, and just bear with me because I'm actually going to get them up because I only reviewed and changed my content pillars last week. So I want to make sure I'm giving you the right ones. Okay, so my content pillars are: 1, clear messaging and offer positioning. So talking about how to be clear in your marketing and your messaging and your content, and positioning your offer in line with your niche. In a way that's going to land with your ideal client. 2, safe selling, confidence and integrity. So feeling safe, being confident, having conviction, showing up without throwing your nervous system and getting a vulnerability hangover, and feeling really confident, knowing that you're selling in a way that honors your integrity and your personality, and feeling safe doing it. 3, connection-led sales. So this is sales that is basically rooted in human-to-human connection, rather than trying to constantly create, content from a place of, I need to say the right thing to make people buy, or, I'm scared of talking to people, maybe, things like that. So it's like human-to-human connection-based sales, or the old-fashioned way, as I've been calling it lately. Which actually baffles me that I have to describe human connection in selling and marketing as the old-fashioned way. It really is quite telling about the online business space, but that's cool. 4, so my 4th content pillar is sustainable sales and marketing rhythms for ADHD. So this is where I go into more, sustainable systems and structures and strategies for marketing and sales with ADHD, to make sure that you can keep showing up with that action on a regular basis, rather than the highs and lows that come with ADHDs, hyperfocuses and burnouts, and making sure that you regulate it in a really nice way. So those are my content pillars, and those are also pretty much the main phases of my signature program, the Neuro-Friendly Sales Accelerator. So that's it. I always take my main phases or my main blocks of transformation, of the transformation that I provide, and that might be overall in your business, or that might be one offer, or maybe that's 1 or 2. But those are going to be the main things. So that's as simple as it gets. And then your CTA. So again, this is just what I was saying earlier. What are you going to be promoting on your SPIC days is probably going to be things like your freebie promotion or a free resource, your podcast or email list, or maybe you're going to promote engagement. Maybe you can even literally just say, DM me to let me know what you thought about this post, or DM me about X, Y, and Z. Do you agree with X, Y, and Z, or do you feel like blah, blah, blah? DM me, comment. Always just prompting a next action step for people to get to know you a little bit more. And then obviously on the engage day, that would be offer promotion. So you can just bosh your CTA in there. And then finally your platform. So again, you do not have to appear on all these platforms. These are just I want to cover everything because I know, people are on different platforms. So depending on which ones you show up on, you can just select it there. So that is it. That is the content calendar and kit. So if you have any questions, please never think that I'm too busy to answer an email or DMs. It's always my priority. If you have questions, or you just want to check in about something that maybe I've missed, please just DM me or email me with your question, and let me know what you think as well. I'd love to know feedback. If I know that ADHD brains all work differently. Someone might love it, and I have people who say, oh, actually I struggled to get on board with it, or I love the content kit. People have used it before, so let me know your feedback. And finally, if you'd like to go deeper, I do have my deeper offers. So I have my membership, which is the Neuro-Friendly Growth Club. That is my lower ticket sort of lower commitment membership, which focuses on more on audience growth, visibility, that main kind of marketing on and off of social media. And then of course I have my signature offer, which is the Neuro-Friendly Sales Accelerator, which goes a lot deeper, and that really focuses on the sales side of things, and how to create consistent sales, consistent income in a way that feels human and ADHD friendly and not weird and just icky and gross. So yeah, if you want to know more about either of those, just email me or DM me at Neuropreneur Rising on Instagram, and I will be happy to chat away. So I hope you love the content kit, and I hope it makes your life just a whole lot easier. And as I say, just let me know if you have any questions. Enjoy.